before 5 every morning because my duty is to light the fire in Mr. and Mrs. Edwards' bedchamber even before they rise. They like to wake up to a room that's already been warmed by the fire. And I must say it's quite an odd turn of events to find myself living so closely with people to whom I'm not related and to even be going into their bedchamber as they sleep. But this is the way they prefer it, so I simply do as I am told. Mrs. Edwards' mother lives in the suite of rooms through that door there. A long time ago, these were the quarters for the hired girls, such as myself, but when Mrs. Edwards took up residence here, we were moved upstairs to the attic, which is where my quarters are today. When the family is downstairs enjoying their breakfast, I come up here and I make their beds. I collect the chamber stick there that they use to light their way to bed, and I trim the wick and bring that downstairs so it's ready for them again at the end of the day today. I go over to the washstand and I empty out the last night's water that they may have used to tidy up. I clean their soap dish and their toothbrush holder and make sure that they have fresh water for today's wants. And then I do any general airing out that needs to be done, raise the windows, sometimes clean the blankets, and once a week I completely scour the bed, dismantle the tick and the mattress and the pillows, take it down to its bare frame, and I scour it and make sure there are no bugs or vermin in there, and tend to clean it down and rub it out to make sure that bed bugs don't get a hold of it. And my least favorite task in these rooms, I must often empty the chamber pots here, and I'll just check it now to see if there's anything in it. Oh, thankfully it's empty today. Again, it's a strange thing to be so intimate with someone that you're not related to, that you see the byproducts of their bodily systems and have to deal with it, and I do hate to clean that out, but I appreciate the convenience of this versus going out into the privy in the backyard in the middle of the night. Connecting to the Edwards bedroom here is their daughter Molly's bedroom. Molly is nearly my own age. She's 19 years old, and I find I have the hardest time taking orders from someone my own age. She tends to be a little bit aloof, a little bit aristocratic like her father, and clearly thinks that she's much better than me, and perhaps society tells her so, but in my heart I don't believe that I am. One of my duties is to help her dress. This is a dress that she will wear out to church in the morning, and I will help her put this on. This involves, she starts with her chemise in the mornings, and then she puts on a corset. She'll put a corset cover on over that. She'll put on a petticoat, and then her cage crinoline, and then a petticoat over that. And then I will help her to slip the dress over her head and put the shoes on her feet, because by that time she's unable to bend down and buckle her own shoes. I'm learning how to do hair. Being that she is a young lady, Molly's always coming to me with illustrations she tears out of Godey's of new fashions for ladies' hair that she would like me to try on her. And I have mastered the chignon, but beyond that there are quite elaborate hairstyles that I have not yet been able to master, although she insists I keep practicing, and truthfully I don't mind. It's a nice relief from scrubbing the hearths, and also with the skills of a lady's maid to boast of, I could perhaps secure a better position and more wages at a later date. And you see, Molly's medicines are set out on the table. She hasn't been feeling very well lately. In fact, all the family continually seems like they're plagued with ill health. And so when one of them is ailing, I'm pressed into service as the nursemaid, and my duty is to make sure that there are fresh sheets on the bed and tidy up the soiled sheets, to bring them their food. Her feeding cup is there. Oftentimes when she lacks the strength to ingest solid food, we'll brew her up a nice wholesome beef tea that she will drink for nourishment, and I will give it to her even as she lays down here. Mr. and Mrs. Edwards are rather progressive in their views of medicine. Some of their older friends still visit doctors, such as Dr. Todd in town, who practices bleeding and brings his leeches with him when he sees a patient. The idea being that you can drain out the bad blood and leave only the good, clean, healthy blood behind to cure an illness. But Mr. and Mrs. Edwards put much more stock in modern medicine. You can see some of Molly's medicines on the counter there. They found especially that laudanum has been particularly effective. When the girls are dosed with laudanum, they tend to fall in a very deep healing sleep and not arise for several hours. And when they arise, they do feel considerably better. Well, I just must go set something upstairs in my quarters in the attic. If you'd like to